sprawling, opulent estate nestled in a lush valley. The golden sunlight glints off marble fountains and manicured gardens, a vision of paradise. The camera cuts to Ember, a striking woman in her early 30s with auburn hair and expressive green eyes, laughing as she chases her 6-year-old daughter, Skye, through a sun-drenched garden. Skye's giggles echo, but as the camera lingers, a shadow flickers across Ember's face. It pans to a distant window where a silhouette watches, unmoving. Rising action, Ember's voiceover begins, soft but tinged with unease. Everyone saw the fairy tale. The perfect husband, the perfect home, the perfect life. But perfection can be a lie. The scene shifts to a montage of Ember's life, her radiant smile at a gala, her arm linked with Ronan, a charismatic tech mogul in his 40s, his dark eyes gleaming with charm as he captivates a room of investors. His tailored suit and easy laugh make him magnetic, but the camera catches subtle moments, his hand tightening on Ember's arm, his smile faltering when she speaks out of turn. In a quiet moment, Ember sits in her lavish art studio, a sanctuary of half-finished canvases. She narrates, "I fell for Ronan's intensity, his vision. He promised me the world, and I believed him." A flashback shows a younger Ember, eyes sparkling, as Ronan sweeps her into a dance at a rooftop party, whispering promises of a shared future. But the present intrudes. Ronan enters the studio, his presence filling the space like a storm cloud. "Still playing with your paints, darling?" he says, his tone teasing but edged with condescension. "You know, it's a sweet hobby, but the board dinner tonight is what matters." Ember forces a smile, her fingers brushing a canvas depicting a bird with clipped wings. "Of course, Ronan. I'll be ready." Her voice is steady, but her eyes betray a flicker of defiance. The camera lingers on the painting, its vibrant colors dulled by the shadow of Ronan's figure. Later, at a glittering dinner party, Ronan holds court, his charisma undeniable. Ember, dressed in an elegant gown, plays the perfect wife, but her discomfort is palpable. A guest compliments her art, and she lights up, only for Ronan to interject, "Oh, she dabbles. Keeps her busy between being a mom and supporting my work." The guests laugh, but Ember's smile tightens. In a private moment, she overhears Ronan on a call, "She's where she belongs, here with me. Always." The words chill her, and the camera zooms in on her reflection in a crystal glass, distorted and trapped. Guest, smiling, Ember, "Your paintings are stunning. Why don't you show them professionally?" Ember, brightening, "I'd love to, maybe one day." Ronan, cutting in, chuckling, "She's got enough on her plate with Skye and keeping this place running. Art's just her little escape, right, darling?" Ember, softly, eyes down, "Right." As the party ends, Ronan approaches Ember, his smile not reaching his eyes. "Did you remember to cancel your art class? We have another dinner with the board tomorrow." Ember hesitates, then murmurs, "Yes, dear." Her voice is barely a whisper, heavy with resignation. The camera pans to her studio, zooming in on the bird painting, its clipped wings stark against the canvas. A single tear falls from Ember's eye. A close-up of Ember's hands, trembling slightly as she applies makeup in a luxurious bathroom. Her phone buzzes, and a text from Ronan appears, "Running late. Don't worry, I've ordered your usual. My driver will pick you up." The message is curt, devoid of warmth. The camera lingers on her reflection, her eyes hollow despite the flawless makeup. Rising action, Ember's voiceover sets the tone. "It wasn't one moment. It was 1,000 tiny cuts, each one stealing a piece of me." The episode delves into the insidious nature of Ronan's control. A montage shows him dictating her life, choosing her outfits, "This one's more appropriate," monitoring her schedule, "You don't need that yoga class, we'll exercise together," and subtly isolating her from friends. At a coffee shop, Ember tries to call her old friend, Lila, her fingers hovering over the screen. Just as Lila answers, Ronan enters, his presence looming. "Who's that?" he asks, his tone light but laced with suspicion. Just Lila," Ember stammers, ending the call. Ronan smiles, but his eyes are cold. "You don't need her, Ember. You have me. And Skye." The camera captures Ember's forced nod, her throat tightening. Later, at dinner, Ronan praises her devotion to their family, his words dripping with manipulation. "You're so good at putting us first," he says, but the subtext is clear, "Don't step out of line." A poignant scene shows Ember preparing Skye's lunch, her movements mechanical. Skye, her bright eyes dimming, watches silently. Ember notices but pushes the thought away, too afraid to confront it. The camera shifts to Ronan's study, where he reviews security footage on his laptop, his expression unreadable. Ember's voiceover whispers, "I didn't see the leashes at first. But they were there, tightening every day." Ember on phone, hesitant, "Lila, hi, it's been so long. I just wanted to." Ronan, entering, casual, "Who's that, darling?" Ember, startled, fumbling, "Just Lila. I was catching up." Ronan, smiling, cold, "You don't need to catch up with her. You've got everything you need right here." "Right." Ember, quietly, "Right." Skye tugs at Ember's sleeve, holding up a drawing, a stick figure in a tiny, cramped box. "Mommy, why is the little person sad?" she asks, her voice small. Ember's breath catches, her eyes filling with tears as she pulls Skye into a tight hug. Ember's face a mask of silent anguish. The question hangs in the air. How much longer can she let this hurt her daughter? Skye, bursting with color, from months ago, juxtaposed with her latest work, a muted sketch of a lone figure under a gray sky. The camera pans to Skye, curled up in her room, her once sparkling eyes distant as she sketches quietly. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is heavy with guilt. "I thought I could protect her. But my silence was teaching her to be afraid." The episode focuses on Skye's subtle changes. She flinches at loud noises, hesitates before speaking, and avoids Ronan's gaze. At a pediatrician's office, the doctor gently probes. Skye seems anxious. "Any changes at home?" Ember deflects, but the truth gnaws at her. A flashback shows Skye hiding behind Ember during one of Ronan's jokes about her clumsiness, his tone sharp despite the smile. At home, Skye's withdrawal deepens. Ember finds her staring out a window, clutching a stuffed bird. "Mommy, can we visit Grandma? Just for a little while?" Skye asks, her voice barely audible. Ember's heart breaks. Grandma lives states away, a connection Ronan has deliberately severed, citing family priorities. Ember kneels beside her, promising, "Soon, sweetheart," but her voice wavers. The camera captures the weight of that lie, the distance between mother and daughter growing under Ronan's shadow. A tense dinner scene underscores the dynamic. Ronan quizzes Skye on her day, his tone overly precise. When Skye spills her juice, he doesn't raise his voice but leans in, his words chilling, "You need to be more careful, Skye. We don't make messes here." Skye shrinks, and Ember's hand instinctively reaches for hers under the table. Skye, softly, at bedtime, "Mommy, why does Daddy get so quiet when he's mad?" Ember, forcing calm, "He just wants things to be perfect, sweetie." Skye, looking away, "I don't like it when he's quiet. It feels heavy." Ember, heartbreaking, stroking Skye's hair, "I know, baby. I'm here. Always." As Skye sleeps, Ember watches her, clutching her daughter's drawing of the sad figure. The camera zooms in on their joined hands, Skye's small fingers trembling even in sleep. Ember's eyes harden with a flicker of resolve. The screen cuts to a close-up of her face, a silent scream building. She can't let this destroy her daughter. A haunting shot of Ember in her art studio at midnight, the only light from a burner phone screen. Her face, illuminated by the glow, is a mix of terror and determination as she types "safe exit strategies" into a search bar. The camera pans to the dark estate, security lights sweeping the grounds like predatory eyes. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is urgent. "I couldn't save myself until I realized I had to save her." The episode tracks Ember's first steps toward escape. She begins secretly gathering essentials: Skye's birth certificate, hidden in a book, their passports, tucked behind a loose panel in her studio, and cash from selling a small painting through a discreet online marketplace. Each act feels like a rebellion, her heart pounding as she checks over her shoulder. Ember discovers an online forum for survivors, a digital lifeline. Pseudonymous users share stories eerily similar to hers, offering practical advice: hide your tracks. Use cash. Trust your instincts. She learns about go bags and memorizes emergency contacts. A tense scene shows her practicing a fake smile in the mirror, preparing to face Ronan without betraying her plans. The camera lingers on her clenched fists, a symbol of her growing resolve. At a rare moment alone in a cafe, Ember meets a librarian who notices her unease and slips her a pamphlet for a local women's shelter, whispering, "Just in case." Ember tucks it away, her pulse racing. Back home, she overhears Ronan discussing a security upgrade with his head of staff: new cameras, tighter locks. The camera captures her wide-eyed fear, the walls closing in. Librarian, quietly, handing pamphlet, "You don't have to say anything. Just keep this. It's a number you can call, anytime." Ember, hesitant, voice low, I don't know what you mean." Librarian, kindly, "I've seen that look before. You're not alone." Late at night, Ember hides her go-bag under a floorboard, her hands shaking. The sound of footsteps makes her freeze. Ronan's voice calls her name from downstairs, calm but commanding. She shoves the bag back, her heart in her throat. Is he onto her? A shattered mirror in the mansion's opulent hallway reflects Ember's distorted image, her eyes wide with fear. The camera pans to shards on the floor, glinting like broken dreams. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is raw. "I thought I could endure. Until he took everything." The episode builds to a devastating turning point. Ronan discovers Ember's burner phone, not through surveillance but by chance, finding it in her studio. He doesn't explode. Instead, his reaction is chillingly controlled. "You disappoint me, Ember," he says, his voice like ice. He smashes the phone, then turns to her art, tearing canvases with surgical precision. "You don't need distractions," he says, each rip a dagger to her soul. Later, alone in their bedroom, Ronan's threats escalate. "If you ever think of leaving, I'll make sure no one believes you. Skye stays with me. Your family, they'll suffer." His words are a calculated blow, exploiting her deepest fears. Ember nods, numb, but inside, something snaps. The camera flashes back to Skye's drawing, the sad figure in the box, and Ember's resolve crystallizes. She begins documenting Ronan's behavior in a hidden journal, her handwriting shaky but determined. A flashback shows a moment of tenderness, Ronan giving her a necklace years ago, a symbol of love now tarnished. She rips it off, the chain breaking. The camera lingers on the necklace, tangled on the floor, as Ember's voiceover vows, "This ends now." Ronan, cold, holding the phone, "What's this, Ember?" "A little secret." Ember, voice trembling, "It's nothing, just, I was curious." Ronan, leaning close, menacing, "Curiosity can be dangerous. You know what happens to people who betray me." Ember stands in her ruined studio, surrounded by shredded canvases. She picks up a photo of Skye, laughing in a park, untouched by fear. Her face hardens, her whisper fierce, "No more." Estate at midnight, its security lights slicing through the darkness like searchlights. The camera cuts to Ember and Skye, silhouetted against the grand staircase, tiptoeing through the opulent halls. Ember clutches a small go-bag, Skye mirrors her with a tiny backpack, her stuffed bird peeking out. Their breaths are visible in the cold, their eyes wide with fear and determination. Rising action, Ember's voiceover sets the stakes. Every step was a gamble. One wrong move, and we'd lose everything. The episode plunges viewers into the heart-pounding escape. Ember has memorized the security system's blind spots, a testament to weeks of silent observation. The camera follows their cautious movements, skirting motion sensors, pausing at every creak of the floorboards. A close-up shows Ember's hand trembling as she disables a side door's alarm with a stolen code, her heart pounding audibly. A near miss heightens the tension. A security guard's flashlight sweeps the garden as they crouch behind a hedge, Skye's small hand gripping Ember's. "Mommy, are we playing hide and seek?" Skye whispers, her innocence piercing. Ember forces a smile, whispering, "Exactly, sweetie. We're the best hiders." They reach a forgotten back gate, rusted but unlocked, and slip into the night. The camera lingers on the estate's looming silhouette, a golden cage left behind. They board a desolate night bus, its flickering lights casting eerie shadows. Ember scans every passenger, paranoia gnawing at her. Skye falls asleep against her, clutching her bird. Ember's voiceover confesses, "Freedom felt like a dream I couldn't trust. But for her, I'd keep running." Skye, whispering, scared, "Mommy, what if Daddy finds us?" Ember, soft but firm, stroking Skye's hair, "He won't, sweetheart. We're going somewhere safe, just you and me." Skye, eyes wide, promise. Ember, swallowing tears, promise. The dawn breaking over a gray horizon. Ember looks back at the receding lights of the estate, a tear tracing through the grime on her cheek. We're free, she whispers to a sleeping Skye, but the echo of Ronan's threats lingers in her mind. The camera pans to a distant road sign, barely visible, city limits. Where are they headed next? A frantic montage assaults the senses, blurred bus windows, crowded train stations, Ember's anxious glances over her shoulder. The camera captures her adjusting a scarf to hide her face, Skye clutching her hand as they navigate a sea of strangers. The sound of a train whistle underscores the urgency. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is breathless, every mile was a victory, every shadow a threat. The episode follows their grueling journey to anonymity. Ember uses cash to buy tickets, avoiding CCTV with practiced caution. She cuts her hair in a gas station bathroom, the auburn locks falling like shed chains. Skye, sensing the stakes, is remarkably brave, her small voice asking, "Are we on an adventure, Mommy?" Ember nods, but her eyes betray exhaustion. A tense moment unfolds at a ticket counter. The clerk's lingering glance makes Ember's pulse race. 2 tickets to anywhere but here, she says, her voice low. The clerk raises an eyebrow but complies. As they board a train, Ember spots a man in a dark coat watching them. Is he one of Ronan's men, or just a stranger? She changes their destination at the last second, pulling Skye onto a different platform. The camera captures their hurried steps, the crowd swallowing them. On the train, Skye draws in a small notebook, her sketches now brighter, a sign of hope. Ember watches her, drawing strength from her daughter's resilience. A flashback shows Ember tucking Skye's stuffed bird into her backpack, a symbol of the freedom they're chasing. "We're getting there, little bird," Ember murmurs, her voice barely audible over the train's rumble. Clerk, "Curious, ma'am, you seem in a hurry. Everything okay?" Ember, forcing calm, "Just visiting family. Need to get there quick." Clerk, handing tickets, "Safe travels. You look like you could use some rest." Ember, tight smile, "Thanks. I will." They arrive at a massive, impersonal airport, the chaos overwhelming. Ember's eyes dart to a newsstand monitor flashing Ronan's face, a missing person report framing her as unstable, Skye as taken. Her breath catches, the weight of his reach crushing her fleeting hope. Her clenched fist, gripping Skye's hand. How will they stay hidden now? The screen cuts to black, the sound of a boarding announcement echoing. Ember and Skye slump into their seats on a long-haul flight, exhaustion etched into their faces. The camera pans to a kind-faced man in his 60s, Elias, settling beside them. He offers Skye a gentle smile, his eyes crinkling with warmth, a stark contrast to the cold world they fled. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is wary, "I'd forgotten what kindness felt like. Could I trust it?" The episode introduces Elias, a retired teacher with an air of quiet wisdom. He notices Skye's quiet intensity and offers her a small, colorful puzzle toy from his bag. "Keeps my grandkids busy," he says, his voice soft. Skye lights up, distracted, giving Ember a moment to breathe. Elias engages Ember in light conversation, never prying. He shares a story about his own journey years ago, escaping a toxic business partnership that left him feeling trapped. "Sometimes, you just have to walk away, no matter how hard it seems," he says, his eyes meeting hers with unspoken understanding. Ember nods, her guard lowering slightly. The camera captures subtle details, Elias's worn but neat jacket, Skye's fingers tracing the puzzle, Ember's tense shoulders softening. A turbulent moment on the flight tests Ember's nerves. She grips the armrest, flashing back to Ronan's cold threats. Elias, sensing her distress, offers a reassuring pat on her hand. "You're stronger than you know," he says quietly. The camera lingers on their exchange, a beacon of hope in Ember's dark journey. Elias, gentle, to Skye, "That's a fine bird you've got there. Does it have a name?" Skye, shyly, "It's Freedom. Mommy says birds should fly." Elias, glancing at Ember, "Your mommy's right. Birds always find their way." Ember, quiet, grateful, "Thank you, for being kind." As the plane lands, Elias hands Ember a plain business card with a handwritten number. "I have contacts in this city. If you need help, for anything, don't hesitate." His eyes convey genuine concern, no judgment. Ember clutches the card, a fragile lifeline in her trembling hand. The camera zooms in on her face, torn between hope and fear. Can she trust this stranger? The screen fades, leaving viewers eager to see her next move. Ember dialing Elias's number from a payphone, her breath visible in the chilly night air. Skye huddles close, clutching her backpack. The sound of a kind voice on the other end cuts through the silence, a faint spark of hope lighting Ember's face. Rising action, Ember's voiceover reflects, "I'd forgotten what safety felt like. Could this be real?" Elias, true to his word, connects them with a trusted friend, Marta, who runs a discreet guesthouse on the city's outskirts. The camera pans over the modest but warm guesthouse. Its soft lights and cozy quilts a stark contrast to the cold opulence of Ronan's estate. Marta, a no-nonsense woman with a warm smile, welcomes them without questions, offering hot cocoa to Skye, who sips it with wide-eyed wonder. Ember allows herself to relax, if only slightly. She cries for the first time in days, the tears silent but cathartic, as Skye sleeps soundly in a small, safe bed. The camera captures intimate moments, Ember tucking Skye in, her fingers lingering on her daughter's peaceful face, a photo of the two of them on the nightstand, a reminder of why she's fighting. Marta shares a brief story of her own, a sister who escaped an abusive marriage, signaling she understands without pressing Ember for details. Ember begins to plan their next steps, sketching in a notebook, her artist's hands finding purpose again. The camera lingers on her drawings, not caged birds, but open skies. Yet, the shadow of Ronan looms. She checks the locks twice, her paranoia lingering. Marta, handing Ember a quilt, "This place is off the grid. No one finds you here unless you want them to." Ember, hesitant, "How do you know what we need?" Marta, softly, "I've seen that look before. Rest now. You're safe tonight." Ember wakes in the night, the silence deafening after years of tension. She checks on Skye, then gazes out the window at the unfamiliar city lights. For the first time, Ronan's presence feels distant, replaced by a faint, fragile hope. The camera focuses on her silhouette, a woman on the cusp of reclaiming her life. But is safety ever certain? Ember steps into a bustling street market, the sun warming her face. The vibrant colors, fresh fruits, handmade crafts, laughing children, contrast sharply with the sterile estate she fled. Skye skips beside her, her eyes bright with curiosity, a stark shift from her earlier withdrawal. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is tentative but hopeful, "I was learning to breathe again, one careful step at a time." The episode shows Ember and Skye settling into their new reality. Elias meets them for coffee at a small cafe, his presence a steady anchor. He helps Ember navigate practicalities, a temporary job at a local bookstore, a prepaid phone, and school enrollment for Skye. "You don't have to tell me everything," he says, "but I'm here." Ember shares fragments of her story, her voice halting but growing stronger. Skye explores the market with childlike wonder, chasing pigeons and giggling. Ember watches, her heart swelling at her daughter's rediscovered joy. A flashback shows Skye's muted drawings from the estate, juxtaposed with her new, colorful sketches of flowers and birds. Ember's own sketches begin to reflect this shift, her art a quiet rebellion against her past. A tense moment intrudes. Ember spots a man lingering near the market, his posture too familiar. She pulls Skye close, her heart racing. Is it paranoia, or is Ronan closing in? Elias notices her distress and distracts Skye with a story, giving Ember a moment to compose herself. The camera captures her clenched jaw, her resolve hardening. Elias, at the cafe, "You're doing the hard part, Ember. Starting over takes guts." Ember, quietly, "I don't feel brave. I feel like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop." Elias, firmly, "You're here. You're fighting. That's bravery, plain and simple." Ember and Skye return to the guesthouse, the day's warmth lingering. Skye giggles as she chases pigeons in the yard. Ember draws a deep breath, the air tasting sweet, untainted by fear. A genuine smile touches her lips, the first in years. A quiet, intimate shot of Ember in a therapist's office, sunlight filtering through a window. Her hands fidget in her lap, her green eyes hesitant as she begins to speak. The camera lingers on a small, ticking clock, amplifying the weight of the moment. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is raw. I thought running would be the hardest part. But facing what he did to me, that was a different kind of courage. The episode dives into Ember's therapy journey, a painful but necessary step toward healing. Her therapist, Dr. Lena, a compassionate woman with a steady presence, gently guides her to unpack years of gaslighting and emotional abuse. Flashbacks intersperse the session, Ronan's subtle jabs at her intelligence, his jokes that eroded her confidence, the way he isolated her from friends. One vivid memory shows Ember apologizing for a minor mistake, Ronan's cold smile chilling her. Dr. Lena introduces coping mechanisms, breathing exercises, journaling, and helps Ember identify triggers, like the sound of a low, controlled voice. Ember struggles to articulate her guilt over Skye's suffering, her voice breaking as she says, "I let her live in that fear." The camera captures her tears, but also her growing resolve. A poignant moment shows her practicing a grounding technique, clutching a small stone Dr. Lena gave her, its smoothness a contrast to her jagged emotions. Outside therapy, Ember begins to reclaim small pieces of herself. She sketches in the guesthouse garden, her lines bolder, less constrained. Skye, sensing her mother's shift, brings her a daisy, a symbol of hope. The camera juxtaposes Ember's therapy notes, scribbled words like worthless and trapped, with her new sketches of open fields. Dr. Lena, gentle, Ember, what's one thing Ronan made you believe about yourself? Ember, hesitant, voice low, that I'm nothing without him. That I can't survive on my own. Dr. Lena, firmly, that's his voice, not yours. What does your voice say? Ember, pausing, eyes glistening, I'm enough. For me. For Skye. During a session, Ember has a breakthrough, realizing Ronan's core lie, that she's incapable. She shatters it, a tear streaming down her face, but her eyes are clear, fierce. He doesn't control me anymore, she whispers. The camera zooms in on the stone in her hand, now a symbol of her strength. Skye laughing freely on a school playground, her auburn hair catching the sunlight. Her latest drawing, pinned to a classroom wall, bursts with color, a soaring bird against a bright sky, a stark contrast to her muted sketches from the estate. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is warm. Seeing Skye come alive again was like watching spring after a long winter. The episode focuses on Skye's transformation in their new life. At her new school, Skye makes friends, her once quiet demeanor giving way to giggles and chatter. She joins an art club, her creativity flourishing. The camera captures her painting a mural with classmates, her brushstrokes confident, her smile unguarded. Ember watches Skye's growth with a mix of pride and relief. A parent-teacher conference reveals Skye's progress. Her anxiety has faded, replaced by curiosity and confidence. She's a natural leader, her teacher says, and Ember's eyes well up. At home, Skye's room fills with color, posters, drawings, a small hamster cage she's begged for. Ember, hesitant but healing, agrees to the pet, a symbol of their new freedom. A tender scene shows Skye presenting Ember with a drawing, a vibrant bird soaring over a rainbow. "This is you, Mommy," Skye says, her voice bright. Ember's heart swells, but a flicker of fear lingers. Ronan's reach is never far from her mind. The camera lingers on the drawing, its bold lines a testament to their shared resilience. Skye, excited, holding the drawing, "Mommy, this is you. You're flying now, right?" Ember, smiling, voice soft, "I'm trying, sweetie. Because of you." Skye, beaming, "Can we get a hamster? Please. It'll be our friend." Ember, laughing, a rare lightness, "Okay, little bird. Anything you want." At bedtime, Skye curls up with her new hamster, named Sunny. Ember watches, her smile bittersweet. "It's going to be okay, isn't it?" Skye asks. Ember nods, but her eyes drift to a locked window, her instincts on edge. The camera pans to the hamster wheel spinning, a metaphor for their fragile peace. Is danger closer than they think? A stark shot of Ember in a law office, facing a stern but compassionate lawyer, Ms. Carter. A stack of legal documents looms between them, the weight of the fight ahead palpable. The camera zooms in on Ember's hands, steady but white-knuckled. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is resolute. Freedom wasn't just running. It was fighting for our future. The episode dives into the grueling legal battle for sole custody of Skye and a permanent restraining order against Ronan. Ms. Carter, recommended by Elias, is a fierce advocate, warning Ember that Ronan's wealth and influence make him a formidable opponent. "He'll paint you as unstable," she says. "Be ready." The process is brutal. Ember recounts painful details in depositions, reliving Ronan's control and threats. Flashbacks show his chilling warnings, "You'll never take Skye from me." Ronan's lawyers flood the court with accusations, claiming Ember kidnapped Skye and is unfit. The camera captures Ember's anguish as she reads their filings, but also her growing strength, fueled by Skye's happiness and Elias's support. Elias connects Ember with a pro bono legal team, their belief in her bolstering her resolve. A tense courtroom scene shows Ember testifying, her voice steady despite Ronan's piercing stare from across the room. The camera lingers on her clenched fist, the stone from therapy tucked in her pocket. "Ms. Carter, direct Ember, they'll try to tear you apart. Can you handle reliving it all?" Ember, swallowing hard, "For Skye, I'll do anything." "He can't have her." Ms. Carter, nodding, "Good. Hold on to that fire. We'll fight this together." A letter arrives from Ronan's lawyers, filled with vicious accusations and a veiled threat, "Return Skye, or face consequences." Ember's hand trembles, but she glances at Skye's soaring bird drawing on the wall. She crumples the letter, her eyes blazing. "He won't win," she vows. Ember stands before a blank canvas in the guesthouse's small attic, hesitantly picking up a brush. The camera pans across her old, destroyed paintings from the estate, birds in cages, shattered chains, then to the blank canvas, a fresh start. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is introspective, "Art was my voice when I had none. Now, it's my rebellion." The episode explores Ember's return to painting, a therapeutic act of reclaiming her identity. Her new work is vibrant, untamed, birds breaking free, landscapes of open skies, colors exploding with life. The camera captures her brushstrokes, each one deliberate, a release of years of suppression. A local gallery owner, impressed by a sketch Ember shares, offers to display her work. "There's power in these," she says. Ember hesitates, fearing exposure, but agrees, driven by a need to speak her truth. The gallery preparation is a whirlwind, framing paintings, writing artist statements, confronting her past through each piece. Skye helps, adding tiny doodles to the edges of frames, her pride in her mother palpable. A flashback shows Ronan destroying her art, his voice cold, "This is a waste of time." The contrast with Ember's current work, bold, unapologetic, underscores her growth. The camera lingers on a painting of a phoenix rising, its flames mirroring Ember's fire. Gallery owner, admiring a painting, "This one. It's like you're breaking free. Who's the artist behind this?" Ember, hesitant, "Just someone finding her way." Gallery owner, smiling, "Well, she's got a story to tell. Let's share it." At the gallery opening, a small but warm crowd gathers. A stranger approaches Ember's phoenix painting, saying, "This tells a story of incredible strength." Ember's heart swells, her art speaking for her. Her face, a mix of pride and vulnerability. But as she smiles, a shadow passes the gallery window, a figure too familiar. The screen fades, leaving viewers questioning, "Is Ronan watching?" Ember hesitates at the door of a community center, the hum of voices inside. She steps into a support group for survivors, her face a mix of nerves and hope. The camera pans across the circle of women, their expressions mirroring her own, scarred but resilient. Rising action, Ember's voiceover reflects, "I thought I was alone. Then I found them." The episode highlights Ember's discovery of a survivor community, a lifeline she didn't expect. The group shares stories of escape, resilience, and healing, each one echoing Ember's journey. A woman named Sarah recounts her own flight from abuse, her words striking a chord, "You're not weak for staying. You're strong for leaving." Ember nods, tears in her eyes, feeling seen. The group offers practical advice, legal tips, safe housing options, and emotional support. Ember shares her story haltingly, the words freeing as they spill out. The camera captures the group's nods, their hands reaching out, a tapestry of shared strength. Inspired, Ember volunteers at a local shelter, helping others as she was helped. A scene shows her organizing supplies, her movements purposeful, her confidence growing. Skye, meanwhile, thrives, her hamster Sunny a source of joy. Ember watches her daughter play with shelter kids, her laughter a reminder of why she fights. The camera juxtaposes Ember's volunteer work with flashbacks of her isolation, highlighting her transformation. Conversation. Sarah in group, gently, Ember, what's one thing you want to leave behind? Ember, pausing, the fear that I'm not enough. Sarah, smiling, you're more than enough. Look at us, we're proof you can rebuild. At the shelter, a new survivor arrives, her eyes hollow with fear. Ember approaches, offering a gentle smile. You're safe now, she says, her voice filled with empathy. The woman looks up, a flicker of hope in her eyes. The camera zooms in on their clasped hands, a symbol of connection. But as a news alert on a shelter TV mentions Ronan's name, hinting at his ongoing search. The tension spikes. How close is he? Intense close-up on Ember's face in a packed courtroom, her green eyes steady but glistening with tension. The judge's gavel rests on the bench, and the camera lingers on the silence, heavy with anticipation, as the verdict is about to be read. Rising action. Ember's voiceover is a mix of fear and resolve. This was it, the moment that would decide our future. The episode dives into the climax of the legal battle for sole custody of Skye and a permanent restraining order against Ronan. The courtroom is a battlefield. Ronan's high-powered lawyers paint Ember as unstable, using doctored texts and skewed testimonies to undermine her. The camera captures their smug expressions, contrasted with Ember's quiet strength as she sits beside Ms. Carter, her pro bono lawyer. Ember's testimony is a pivotal moment. She recounts Ronan's control, his threats, his destruction of her art, his subtle terrorizing of Skye, with a clarity that silences the room. Flashbacks intersperse her words, Ronan's cold smile, Skye's trembling hands, the shattered mirror in the estate. Ms. Carter presents evidence, Ember's hidden journal, witness statements from the shelter, bolstering her case. The tension is suffocating as Ronan glares from the defense table, his charm replaced by barely concealed fury. The judge deliberates, and the weight is agonizing. Ember clutches the stone from therapy, her anchor. When the verdict comes, sole custody to Ember, a permanent restraining order against Ronan, the courtroom exhales. The camera zooms in on Ember's face, relief washing over her like a tidal wave. Ms. Carter, whispering before testimony, Ember, you're ready. Tell your truth. Ember, nervous but firm, I'm scared. But I won't let him win. Ms. Carter, squeezing her hand, you've already won by standing here. Now let them hear you. As the gavel falls, Ember closes her eyes, a silent thank you to her strength, her team, her daughter. The camera pans to Ronan's face, a mask of fury and defeat. He tries to catch Ember's gaze, but she turns away, calm and resolute. A warm, sunlit shot of Ember and Skye moving into a cozy apartment, their own for the first time. Skye runs through the rooms, her laughter echoing as she claims a corner for her hamster, Sunny. The camera lingers on a window, open to a breeze, symbolizing freedom. Rising action. Ember's voiceover is light, almost disbelieving. For the first time, we weren't running. We were home. The episode celebrates their new beginning. The apartment is small but vibrant, filled with Skye's drawings and Ember's paintings. They decorate together, hanging colorful curtains, planting herbs on a balcony. The camera captures simple joys, Skye giggling as she spills paint, Ember cooking pancakes, their laughter mingling. Ember lands a job at a local art gallery that champions community artists, a role that feels like a calling. Her confidence grows as she curates exhibits, her voice steady when she speaks to visitors. Skye thrives in school, her friends filling their home with chatter. A montage shows their new routines, walks in the park, bedtime stories, Skye's hamster wheel spinning. Yet, Ember checks the locks nightly, a lingering habit from their past. A tender moment unfolds as Ember and Skye plant a small garden on their balcony. Skye waters a tiny sapling, her face alight with hope. The camera contrasts this with a flashback of the estate's sterile gardens, underscoring their transformation. Ember's voiceover reflects, this was freedom, not just a place, but a feeling. Skye, excited, watering plants, Mommy, will these grow big like us? Ember, smiling, kneeling beside her, bigger, sweetie. They'll reach for the sky, just like you. Skye, grinning, and you, Mommy. You're growing too. As night falls, Ember watches Skye sleep, her face peaceful. The camera pans to the balcony garden, the saplings swaying in the breeze. Ember whispers, just like us, my love. But a faint noise, a creak outside, makes her pause, her hand tightening on the curtain. Ember stands at a podium in a crowded conference hall, her hands trembling as she grips her notes. The banner behind her reads, Domestic Abuse Awareness. The camera zooms in on her face, nervous but determined, as she begins to speak. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is powerful. I was done whispering. It was time to roar. The episode centers on Ember's public sharing of her story at a survivor advocacy conference. She recounts her escape from Ronan's control, her voice steady but raw, detailing the golden cage, the fear, and her fight for Skye. The audience, survivors, advocates, allies, listens in rapt silence, some wiping tears. The camera captures their faces, reflecting Ember's pain and triumph. Her speech is a viral moment, crafted for YouTube impact. I was told I was nothing. But I am everything, to my daughter, to myself, to everyone still trapped. If you're in a cage, your whispers of freedom are real. You are not alone. The crowd erupts in applause, and the camera lingers on Ember's face, a mix of vulnerability and strength. Afterward, survivors approach her, sharing their stories. Ember listens, her empathy a bridge between their pain and her own. The camera shows a montage of her advocacy work, speaking at shelters, organizing art workshops for survivors, her paintings a backdrop of hope. Skye, proud of her mother, draws a poster for the conference, a soaring phoenix. Organizer, after the speech, Ember, that was incredible. You moved everyone. Ember, humbled, I just wanted them to know they're not alone. Organizer, smiling, you did more than that. You gave them hope. Cliffhanger/emotional beat. As Ember leaves the stage, a young woman approaches, tears in her eyes. Your story, it's mine. How do I start? Ember takes her hand, her voice firm. One step. That's all it takes. On their clasped hands, a symbol of shared strength. But a news alert on a nearby phone mentions a tech mogul's legal appeal. A warm, candid scene of Ember, Skye, and Elias sharing a meal in their apartment, laughter filling the air. The camera pans over a table laden with simple food, Skye's drawings taped to the fridge, a cozy contrast to the estate's cold opulence. Rising action, Ember's voiceover reflects, family isn't just blood. It's the people who hold you up when you're rebuilding. 2 years have passed, and the episode showcases Ember's new life. Elias has become a cherished friend, a grandfather figure to Skye, who calls him Papa Eli. They share stories, Elias recounting his teaching days, Skye showing off her latest painting, a vibrant landscape. Ember's art career flourishes. Her paintings, now exhibited nationally, speak of resilience and healing. She balances her gallery job with advocacy, speaking at shelters and mentoring survivors. Skye, now a confident preteen, excels in school, her art echoing her mother's but with her own joyful style. The camera captures their bond, Ember braiding Skye's hair, Skye teaching Ember a silly dance from school. A flashback shows Ember's first night in the guest house, clutching Elias's card. The contrast with their current ease underscores their growth. Yet, Ember remains vigilant, her eyes scanning crowds, a habit from their fugitive days. The camera lingers on a new painting, a tapestry of interwoven threads, symbolizing community. Skye, giggling, to Elias, Papa Eli, you have to see my new painting. It's got a rainbow. Elias, grinning, a rainbow, huh? Bet it's as bright as your smile. Ember, watching, soft, you've given us so much, Elias. Thank you. Elias, waving it off, you two gave me purpose. That's family. Ember watches Skye paint, her daughter's talent a mirror of her own but free of pain. A profound peace settles over her, the camera lingering on their shared smile. But as Skye hums, a letter slips through the mail slot, the return address blank. Ember's face tightens. Could it be from Ronan? Ember and Skye stand on a windswept beach, the vast ocean stretching before them. The setting sun paints the sky in hues of orange and pink, a canvas of hope. Skye's laughter mingles with the waves as she runs into the surf, free and unburdened. Rising action, Ember's voiceover is serene yet powerful. I carried scars, but they were proof of my strength. Our future was ours to paint. The episode reflects on their journey. The fear of the golden cage, the desperate escape, the painful healing, the triumphant rebuilding. Ember acknowledges her scars, moments of doubt, nights of checking locks, but celebrates the life they've built. The camera shows a montage: Ember's gallery exhibits, Skye's school awards, their cozy apartment filled with love. Skye, now thriving, embodies pure freedom, her art and laughter a testament to their victory. Ember's advocacy has grown. She's a beacon for survivors, her story shared widely online, amplifying its viral potential. The camera captures a community event where Ember unveils a mural, co-created with Skye and other survivors, depicting a flock of birds soaring into a boundless sky. The episode's climax is Ember's direct address to the camera, a YouTube-ready moment. "This is not just my story. It's a testament to the power within all of us to break free, to find our voice, to paint our own future. If you're in a golden cage, know that the whispers of freedom are real. You are not alone." Ember and Skye holding hands, walking into the sunset, their footprints in the sand a symbol of their journey. Skye, splashing in the waves, "Mommy, the ocean's so big. Like our dreams, right?" Ember, laughing, joining her, "Bigger, little bird. And they're all ours." Skye, serious, "You made it safe, Mommy. I love you." Ember, tearing up, "I love you too, forever." The viral ending. The screen fades to a minimalist title card listing domestic abuse helplines, a powerful call to action. The final shot lingers on the ocean, the horizon endless, as Ember's voice echoes, "You are not alone." Viewers are left inspired, emotional, and ready to share the story, the resources amplifying its impact. The end.